Today I'm chatting with Marisa Smith from Mac Mom Organizing. Marisa and her team organize gorgeous homes in New York and New Jersey, and they specialize in moving services. Hands-on moving help for packing, unpacking, and setting up new homes with functional systems has been a game changer for her business. We're excited to chat today about growing and scaling this professional organizing company. Welcome to the show, Marisa.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. It's so nice to finally talk face to face. We've been kind of like Instagram friends.
Yes, I know. I'm like, as we were, just chatting before we hit record today, I was like recalling all of these conversations that we've had. So I'm so happy to finally, get to actually chat with you and see the face behind the name and all the things. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us about yourself and what called you to get into this field.
Well, I never really thought about being an entrepreneur, number one, and having a professional organizing business. This is definitely a second act for me. I worked in corporate America. I worked in big pharma for a decade. Then I was a stay-at-home mom. One day I was kind of talking to my friends, feeling a little unfulfilled as my children grew older, wanting to go back to work, but not really knowing, what to do. I couldn't really go back to the career that I had. And they told me, like, you always were organizing and, planning things and rearranging the dorm rooms in college or whatever, start your own business. And I didn't even know it was a thing. And then flashback, like 2 months later, one of my college friends texted me one day. She had just finished a huge home renovation and basically said, "I need your help. What do you charge?" And I thought, well, I don't know. And okay. So I talked to my husband, and he's an attorney, and he said, all right, well, if you're going to go, even into a friend's house, you need to have an LLC. So I started with an LLC, put a logo together, and just started with one client, and started posting pictures on Instagram. And then people saw my work. 2 local realtors reached out to me. I met with them. They kind of gave me a few pointers. I started to Google My Business page, and one client turned into 2 clients, 3, 4, and it just kind of grew from there.
That's awesome. You got that domino effect. You got the first one with the friend from college, and then the realtors, and then the social media and the Google My Business. That's so cool. That's honestly, that's the best way to do it. It's that momentum where you keep going and going, and you get those little wins, and then you're like, oh wow, this is actually a thing. I guess they were right,
Yeah.
and you keep spreading like wildfire. And I know that you have 3 daughters, and so I'm sure that was always fun, raising 3 kids, and you have to be probably pretty organized. So tell us about how you came up with your business name, Mac Mom Organizing.
Right. So my daughters are named Morgan, Amanda, and Charlotte. And that's kind of like what the Mac Mom stands for, but it also has other connotations, like a Mac truck. Like, I do everything. I'm kind of one of those organizers. Like, I do like $1 million houses. I also do garages, complete messes. Like, there's nothing that my team and I won't do. But when I was trying to come up with a name, it was hard. Like, I didn't want to sound like a cleaning service. I was playing around with neat freak, tidy, this and that. And they always call me Mac Mom. And then I just thought, like, why am I overcomplicating things? Like, I'm the Mac Mom. So Mac Mom Organizing.
That's awesome. And like you said, probably nobody had it, living in New Jersey, a large, obviously metro area. There's all the, simple, organized solutions. Neat freak neat freak organizing.
Type A, everything was taken, and there were a lot of them were cleaning services. So I wanted to kind of have the organizing in there, but I didn't want to use my name. That's kind of boring.
And now your name is everywhere. I know that you have merchandise. So I saw you drinking out of your coffee mug earlier. I love it. I think you have like tote bags and stickers. So how did you come up with the logo once you had the name, and how did you kind of do all this merchandise, which is really cool?
So my daughters are older. I don't have any little children anymore. My oldest, Morgan, was actually my first assistant. She took a gap year between college and law school and worked with me. Clients loved her. but she's moved on. So she doesn't work with me anymore. Amanda, my middle daughter, is a graphic design communication major. So, and she's also like minoring in like startup companies. So she has done all my branding. I was fortunate enough that, she's like, what colors do you want? You have to pick 3 colors. Like she knew, what to do for a logo. And I love pink. Obviously, I'm always wearing black, although today I'm not, but I like black, I like white, and I like pink. So she kind of gave me a couple options, did the logo. She made merch for me. I have cups, I have tote bags, we have shirts that we wear for work. And just, it's a great logo because it's the black with the white and the pink. It
Yeah.
stands out well. And it's good to have a brand presence.
Definitely. And I'm sure like in your community, even just having the tote bags around town, getting groceries,
Yep.
going to the market, things like that. And obviously the mug,
Mhm.
at home, if you're ever doing videos
Yeah,
or
I'm always like
podcasts.
on my Zooms with my mug. And everyone knows me around town, Mac Mom. It just kind of stuck, and the logo's fun.
That's awesome. And I
Yeah.
know like with your girls, you've been doing a ton on Instagram lately as far as growing your page there.
Mhm.
And I'm always seeing your reels pop up like first on my feed, even though I follow 1,000 some odd other organizers. So how did you get there? Like, are they helping you with the reels? Tell us about that.
Yes, that generation, I mean, they are so tech savvy. So, and I've had people reach out to me like national accounts, who's your social media team? I'm like, me, 16-year-old, and 22-year-olds. So I have a local student who actually just graduated, communication major, my daughter, who's a communication major. My little one is like TikTok savvy. So this is kind of like has nothing to do with the Mac Mom, but we also we have an account on TikTok. It's called OOTD Check Daily, where we were up to like 30,000 followers. We've lost a couple. I think we're at like 26 or 27. We were the mom daughter duo that used to do the outfits of the day. And then it took off and all these people were imitating us. And I haven't really like merged the two, but she knows how to do the reels. Like that's where it started with this like TikTok thing that we were doing during the pandemic. And then when I started my business, they started doing Space Aid reached out to me and sent me a thing. So we did the reel in my kitchen and we just like, I started doing these reels. And now when I'm at a client, like I do all the filming. I've gotten really good at that. And then, we kind of come home and I kind of plan out like, okay, on Tuesday, I usually do a Tuesday tip reel. And then on Friday or Saturday, I do like one of a organizing project and just, using the right music and the right hashtags. And it really got my account known. Whereas that local people I'm popping up on their feeds.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna have
realized
to.
like that was for me has been the best marketing rather than putting print ads. Like I'm just popping up on people's feeds because I have this tech savvy, social media team.
Right. And what better way than to have that in-house, right? You have your logo,
In-house.
your social media team literally in-house.
Literally in my house. Like, Space Aid is like, can you do a reel? I'm like, well, just send it to me. And like, yeah. And my girls just knew what to do. And then I learned from them.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to go follow your OOTD account now.
We haven't done it in a while, but we were on vacation this summer and I didn't realize like how many people across the country were following us. And people recognized us on vacation, like, oh, you're the mother-daughter duo, because then other mothers and daughters started doing it and they would like pop up under our hashtag, I guess. Yeah.
That is so cool. Spreading like wildfire, right? Getting that domino.
Yeah. Yeah.
So speaking of team and having assistants or having help in your business, let's chat about your actual organizing team. I know that you said you had like shirts made with your logo and things like that. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your team. When did you first start hiring? How's it going for you? How big is your team now? I'm always curious to hear about how people have grown.
Okay, so my first employee really was my oldest daughter. She took a gap year. She graduated college in May of 2020, and that's kind of when that fall is when I started my business. And she knew she wanted to go to law school. she was home studying for the LSAT, and she just started working with me. So that was great. We really had a great time. My clients loved her, but she's since moved on. So then I was like, okay, now I'm used to having an assistant and she's not here anymore. So I have a new assistant, and she actually had worked for me previously, helping me around my house. And she had had a baby and stopped working. And I reached out to her one day, like, do you know anyone that would want to help me? She's like, me, I'll do it. So she's been working with me. And then I have, like, when we do big moving jobs, I have a group that I can pull in, kind of like I call them part-time organizers. And then, like I said, my social media team, my 2 daughters, and a local college student. So I guess that's what, 5 people? I have
Yeah.
a team of about 5. Some projects I do by myself. Usually I work with my one assistant. And then when we have moving jobs, at least 3 of us, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too. So tell us about those moving services, because I know, the girls in my Pro Organizer Bootcamp programs, like sometimes they'll come to me and they'll say, this person just reached out and they need me to help them pack, or this person reached out and they need to help me, or need to have me come and help them unpack. And sometimes there's like hesitation there, like, they're used to organizing established spaces where the rooms are already set up, they already know, okay, this room is going to be the office, and the guest room and the master, and blah blah blah. Sometimes I guess it could be a little bit daunting, but for me in my organizing career, I always loved those jobs, because you had the opportunity to pack them for success wherever they were moving and declutter in the process, and then B, unpack them in the new space and create those fresh systems. And so I always love it. So tell me, how you guys run that, because there's good money in it. I know that.
Yeah, those are my favorite jobs, and those are definitely the most lucrative, because people really need help and they're really relying on you, and your expertise. And so this is another kind of fun fact about me. In high school, when I was, I guess, a junior, my junior summer between junior and senior year of high school, my girlfriend and I worked for Atlas Van Lines as professional packers all over Western Michigan. And, we got paid to like go to the site, pack, and we never unpacked. We were just packers, but I really learned how to professionally pack and how to work a move. And I guess that was kind of like my first forte into professional organizing. So I do, I guess I am or was a professional packer.
You were already a professional organizer.
I was already a professional organizer. I know my girlfriend and I laugh about it. We worked for, I cannot remember the name of the company, but I know it was Atlas Van Lines, and just traveled literally all over Western Michigan, packing people's houses.
That's so cool. And that helps
Yeah.
you learn too. Like, instead of just working at the local coffee shop or the local McDonald's or whatever, like that, I don't know. I feel like that teaches you a lot more when you're in somebody's home
100%.
instead of just serving them at a restaurant or a hotel or whatever. Like, you really have to learn customer service and client care and caring for others' belongings just as if they're your own. And
yeah, I treat everything as mine. My team and we've never broken anything. I'm super careful. I know how to unpack. And, unpacking jobs can be daunting, and you have to set up very clear expectations in the beginning of what you can and can't accomplish, because, most people don't want, like, there are some organizers that, like the bigger companies that come in like with a whole team and can, unpack like a huge house in 3 days. I have done some very, very big houses, but usually will contract out like a certain number of rooms.
yeah, it's definitely one of those moments, like you said, where you have to set the expectations up front, where I think that can turn sometimes for newbie organizers into a sticky situation, because they're on this like proposals kick or this quoting kick or this estimating kick. And that's never how I've run my business. I know that there's a lot of companies that do full estimates and proposals and in-person consultations and measurements and quotes and da da da. I feel like that can get us as organizers into trouble, because you don't know what's in the boxes. You
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
if the boxes were packed well. For example, like right now I'm doing an unpacking situation where I think I'm on like session 6, and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be at least
Yeah.
probably 10 more
Yeah.
sessions to get this giant house fully unpacked,
Yeah.
because there's literally like dirty dishes in the packing boxes.
Yeah.
There's mismatched socks in the
Mhm.
packing boxes. So there's so many factors.
So many factors, and you'd be shocked. Like I always tell people, you need to declutter before you move, but not everybody wants to pay to have a professional organizer pack them. So it's like, okay, the packing, the packers will pack them, and then we unpack stuff that is going in the garbage, and
Exactly. And they just paid all that money
paid
to
all that
ship
money.
it.
And oh my gosh, like this job that we did a couple months ago, we had everything under control. And when I met with her, she showed me the house that they were moving from, the house they were moving to. But then like the third day, she's like, oh, the other truck is coming tomorrow. And I'm like, what other truck? She's like, they had another house of stuff in storage. I was like, okay, that's not in the contract. Like,
Exactly. And there's all these like little unknowns that you sometimes don't dig into. I mean, you can't know everything about every client with just a 20-30 minute consultation,
no,
right?
no.
The same with the same example that I just used. She has 3 storage units,
Mhm.
and one of the trucks still hasn't come. So it's the exact thing where I'm like, okay, I guess I just
Yeah.
live at your house now.
Right. So you have to prioritize. I mean, most of the time we do the kitchen, pantry, closets, but with a team of like 3 or 4, you can't unpack a 7,000 square foot house in a week. It's impossible. So, you know, contracting out exactly what spaces you can do. And, I always say I'm happy to come back and help, with other things. And I do have a lot of repeat clients, but with the moving jobs, if you're new to doing moving jobs, you have to be very specific as to what you can accomplish and, how many days.
Yes,
And
for
there
sure.
are some
And
people that will say, I just want my kitchen, pantry, and, master closet done. And then we do that also.
yeah, and have it be like those main areas, like you said, like obviously
Mhm.
everybody needs a kitchen, they need to be able to
Mhm.
feed themselves and nourish themselves, they need a functioning bathroom with shower and toiletries and all that good stuff, and then obviously a bed and a bedroom put
Yeah.
together. But yeah, I think there's different levels of what that client might want too. Like, do they want the picture perfect pantry right off the bat, or
Mhm.
do they just want a functional kitchen right off to the bat?
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many layers to that. um on that same note, in your other organizing work, not necessarily moving specific, what are your favorite areas of a home or favorite things to organize?
Well, I do love the kitchen, and being a previous stay-at-home mom, I mean, the kitchen is the heart of the house. So I love the kitchen. I love pantries. I love master closets. I also love children, so I like doing kids' rooms and playrooms. I'd say my least, who loves doing a garage? I mean, I do them and I do them well. I didn't realize how good I was at doing garages, but I would say that's probably like my least favorite. It's everybody's least favorite.
Especially in the summer when it's like 100 degrees
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like bugs and dirt and dust
Yeah.
and humidity and
Yeah. And I live in the Northeast, so there's a lot of old basements too, in New York and New Jersey. So we
with
do a
like
lot of
God
basements.
knows what in there.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? I've seen some organizers having their contract, like they see a dead animal, they'll leave, like seen all kinds of things. It's just like, it doesn't faze
Oh
me.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we could all write books about like the things we've stepped in, the things we've reached into, the things
Yep.
we've touched accidentally.
Exactly. I'm like, what is that? Oh, dead mouse. Okay, whatever. Moving on.
I want to talk to you about something kind of based on like your moving conversation of like contracting out and things like that. With delegating and outsourcing, do you ever come across times where you maybe ask for help or referrals or recommendations in the community for like using a local handyman or a contractor to build something for you? Or tell me about how that works in your business.
Yeah. So when I first started, I kind of realized like I know how to use power tools, but I don't want to use them in somebody else's house. I don't want to drill into the wall and it's crooked, or. So I have a painter that's worked for me for a long, long time, and they also do carpentry and other things. So he was like my second phone call when I decided I was going to start this business, just to make sure that he was on board if I ever needed. And the second job I did, he installed all the closets, things like that.
I feel
So
like,
yeah. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, can you hear that? It's pouring rain here.
Oh my gosh, in the middle of,
It's like a monsoon outside.
in the middle of May.
In
No,
the
but
middle
you're
of May,
probably getting
monsoon.
the storm that we had last week. We had a huge, like, we had 4 tornadoes. Anyway, I'm in a whole new
Yeah. Well, I
land.
grew up in Western Michigan, so a lot of tornadoes, but this is really coming down out there.
Getting you ready for the humid summer in New Jersey.
It's crazy.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think with that note too, if you guys that are listening don't have necessarily somebody that you know and like and trust already, like, feel free to just shoot your prospective clients over to like TaskRabbit or Thumbtack, and they can do their own due diligence, read the reviews, hire out. Then it's not necessarily attached to your name, but I've definitely used TaskRabbiters for a long time to help me, put together shelving, put together racks, and like IKEA furniture. I am not messing with that. I don't have the patience to deal.
I don't mess with IKEA furniture either. I have, some of my clients they have their own. If someone has their own handyman, I'm like, I don't do IKEA. I don't put in the Container Store closets, none of that.
Yeah, I just don't have like I don't know if it's the little pieces that bug me or if it's the patience that you have to have, but
the above it, like, what if you put it in and it's crooked? Oh God, now the lights are going out. What is that?
We'll wrap it up in that case. Marisa, where can our audience find you? Where can they follow you and check out your page and what you're doing over at MacMom?
Okay, so my Instagram is very simple. It's MacMom, at MacMom Organizing. My website is www.macmomorganizing.com. And those are, I'm also on Google My Business, MacMom Organizing. If you put in MacMom Organizing, I will pop up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. This has been an awesome conversation. I've loved meeting you face to face, like you said, and then also just hearing about how you're growing and scaling so fast after just being in business for literally less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years. It's crazy.
It's so cool to watch. And I know that like this time next year, you're going to have like 5 more people on your team. You're going to be covering all over the East Coast, I'm sure. But this has been a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Melissa. I'm so happy that I finally got to talk to you.
Yeah.